Hello friends and viewers. Today I am going to talk about the lymphoid organ and the lymphoid system or lymphatic system. And in this talk I will try to cover the bone marrow, thymus, spleen, lymph node and Peyer spaces, which are actually most important lymphoid organ in human body. The lymphoid organ is very necessary for the production of immune cells and the activation of the immune cells. So we are going to learn this lymphoid organ in next couple of slides. The lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a part of the circulatory system and an important part of the immune system. This lymphatic system comprises of lymph node, lymphatic vessel and lymph. So you are seeing that these green buttons like structure in all over our body. They are basically the lymph node. They are aggregated in a specific location. You see different location they are becoming aggregated, and those lymph nodes are connected by very small and thin lymphatic vessels, which are in green color here, and within this lymph node and the lymphatic vessel, the lymph circulate throughout of our body. But this lymphatic system is not actually closed system like the circulatory system. These are the open system, because the circulatory system is connected through the heart, and they circulate from the heart to the tissue, and then from tissue go back to the heart, and there is no open system. But this lymphatic system produced in the tissue, and from tissue they collect the lymph, which is come from the circulatory system or from the serum, and then those lymph travel through this lymphatic system, and finally they are connected to the subclavian vein, right subclavian vein and the left subclavian vein, and they are mixed with the blood in the heart. So that's why they are called the open system. The main function of this lymphatic system and lymphoid organ is in the immune system, like to defend our body from the foreign pathogen. And you have to know that this bone marrow and the thymus, those two are called the primary lymphoid organ, and the spleen, lymph node and the Peyer spaces, this type of organ, they are called the secondary lymphoid organ, because the bone marrow and the thymus are directly produce the B cell and the T cell, but the spleen, lymph node and the Peyer spaces help to induce this produced B cell and T cell when they need to be activated when the foreign pathogen invade inside of our body. Bone marrow. So bone marrow is a semi-solid tissue which is found within the spongy or cancellous portion of the bones. Here you are seeing a bone marrow. This is the bone marrow, which is just inside of the hard bone of our long bone, like the leg and the hand. This type of bone are located actually here, the long bone part of our body, leg, and in the hand, and in the rib. And this bone have the compact out layer, and within this compact out layer the bone marrow are located. The spongy bones are located here, and the compact bone are located here. Cancellous denotes bone tissue with a mesh-like structure containing many pores, typical of the interior of mature bone. In birds and mammals, bone marrow is the primary site of new blood cell production called hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis is a process through which our lymphocytes are produced from this bone marrow. And that's why this bone marrow is composed of hematopoietic cell, marrow adipose tissue, which are the fat cell, and some supportive stromal cell. And human marrow produces approximately 500 billion blood cells per day, which join the circulatory system. All types of hematopoietic cells, including both myeloid and the lymphoid lineage, are produced and created in the bone marrow. However, lymphoid cells must migrate to the lymphoid organ. For example, the T lymphocyte migrate to the thymus for their maturation. But the B cell, which are produced in the bone marrow, directly go to the circulation. And this is the bone and the bone marrow, which is normally looks like. Most of the people we have actually eat this bone marrow when this come from the animal like goat, cow, or other animal, and they looks very tasty when you eat this. Thymus is a specialized primary lymphoid organ of the immune system. Within the thymus, T cells mature here, and T cells are critical to the adaptive immune system, where the body adapts specifically to foreign invaders. The thymus is composed of two identical lobes and located here inside of our body, and this location is called the mediastinum location, and in front of the heart and behind the sternum. And histologically, each lobe of this thymus can be divided into a central medulla and the peripheral cortex. And the capsule is surrounding the cortex of the thymus. The cortex and medulla play different roles in the development of T cell. T cell in the thymus can be divided into thymic stromal cell and the cells of the hematopoietic origin. Developing T cell are referred to as a thymocytes, and they are also of hematopoietic origin. And the stromal cell are referred to as the epithelial cell of the thymic cortex and the medulla, and the dendritic cell. The thymus provides an inductive environment for the development of T cell from the hematopoietic progenitor cell. In addition, thymic stromal cells allow for the selection of a functional and a self-tolerant T cell repertoire. Therefore, one of the most important role of the thymus is the induction of central tolerance, because those T cells are produced from the bone marrow. They come into the thymus and they are educated here that this T cell cannot react to self body cell, and to educate this T cell, almost 95% of the T cell are dying here, and 5% T cell who does not recognize self cells and cannot do any harm of the self cells, they can pass through the circulation. In this way, the thymus give the tolerance to the self cell, and this T cell cannot destroy all our self cells. The thymus is largest and the most active during the neonatal and the pre-adolescent periods. By the early teens, the thymus begins to atrophy and thymic stroma is mostly replaced by adipose or the fat tissue. Nevertheless, residual T lymphopoiesis or T cell generation continues throughout the adult life. The spleen in healthy adult humans is approximately 7 cm to 14 cm in length. It usually weighs between 150 grams to 200 grams. An easy way to remember the anatomy of the spleen is a formula like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 rule, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 mean that spleen is 1 by 3 by 5 inch and it weighs approximately 7 ounce and lies between the 9th and the 11th ribs of the left hand side. The main function of the spleen is to produce and induce the immune cells to fight antigens, to remove the particulate matter and the aged blood cell, mainly the erythrocytes, to produce blood cell during the fetal life. The spleen synthesizes antibodies in its white pulp and removes antibody-coated bacteria and antibody-coated blood cell by the way of blood and the lymph node circulation. And this spleen is located here in the left side of our body. If I magnify this, this is the spleen, and in the spleen you will find the vein and the artery. This is the vein, this is the artery. The artery comes from the circulation from the heart, and they passes through the white pulp region. This is called the white pulp. And then the blood goes through the vein to the heart again, and the peripheral side, this is called the red pulp here, the red pulp, and the outer surface is called the capsule. When the blood goes from the artery to vein, the lymphocyte come here and they get activated through the system. And here in the B cell zone, B cell produces the antibodies and give the antibodies in the circulation. The spleen synthesizes the antibodies in its white pulp. and removes antibody-coated bacteria and antibody-coated blood cell by way of blood and the lymph node circulation. Then the lymph node. The lymph node is located most of our body parts, and depending on their body part, they have a specific name. Like the lymph node located in the armpit, they are called the axillary lymph node, or lymph node located in this region are called the inguinal lymph node. Lymph node located in the middle of the body near the heart, they are called mediastinal lymph node. So they have a specific name depending on their location. And if you dissect a lymph node, it looks like this. From this way they come to the blood coming through the artery and the vein going from the lymph node, and the artery comes to this area. This area is called the paracortical area, where the most T cells are reside here, and this is the medullary area, the red one, and this area are called the B cell area and primary lymphoid follicle, they are termed. And within this primary lymphoid follicle, you will see some germinal center, which are the site for the B cell production, hypermutation, and the production of very specific type of antibodies. In human body, we have almost 500 to 600 lymph nodes all over the body. So in this way, lymph node surveillance in all over the body for the infectious agent, because the lymph, which is created from the circulation, pass through this lymph node every time and go through the again circulation. So within this passing, the infectious agent are monitored by this way through the lymph node. And next, the Peyer spaces. Peyer spaces are found in the intestine, especially they are the aggregated lymphoid nodules. The Peyer spaces named after the Swiss scientist Peyer, and they have also the germinal center and mimic the lymph node in functionality. And here, if you cut some part of the intestine and put in the microscope, you will find this type of structure in the Peyer spaces. These are the epithelial cell, and within this epithelial cell there are specific and specialized kind of cell. They are called M cell. They help to enter the bacteria and the infectious agent, and they are directly presented to the antigen presenting cell like the dendritic cells. And they have also the follicle, who is actually help for the T cell dependent B cell activation and formation of the hypermutated antibodies from the B cell, and then they go to the circulation through the efferent lymphatic system. So these are the main kind of the lymphoid organ. There are also some lymphoid organ which we find in our body, like the tonsil. They are found here near the mouth, here also, and some are adenoid, the tonsil like structure. They are found also here and there. And the appendix is found here. They are also called the lymphoid tissue or lymphoid organ. So this was the total lymphoid system, or the lymphatic system, and the lymphoid organ, and those are very important for the generation of lymphocyte and the maintenance and the induction or stimulation of this lymphocyte. Hope you have understand this lymphoid tissue and lymphatic system, lymphoid organs, and thank you for watching. If you like that this have helped to understand the lymphoid organ and lymphatic system, please like us, and also don't forget to subscribe, and also please share.